An ethics committee unanimously advances a complaint against a Democratic legislator who was drunk at a public meeting. Tonight, we see the warning police gave her that night. Denver's school superintendent finally finds peace and quiet from his many critics in a newly soundproofed office. A fresh survey finds youth marijuana use is dropping. The strategy to keep that going. And just before primary election night, we meet a poll worker.
Anything that needs to be done to that pole to get the flag flying, I can do that.
A unique job, a fearless guy. Tonight on Next. State legislators investigating an ethics complaint against one of their own don't have to wonder what Democratic State Senator Faith Winter did. They can watch the newly released body camera video. Winter could be punished for showing up drunk to a community meeting in April. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger's here. And Marshall, we have seen the video of Winter speaking at this meeting, obviously for Schnickard. Today you saw the video of law enforcement speaking to her privately in the hallway.
This is evidence that the 5 state senators will consider when determining if Winter violated lawmaker ethics. The 5 state senators, 3 Democrats, 2 Republicans, are Winter's colleagues, and they met today and determined there is enough to move forward in this ethics investigation. And that includes video of the April meeting in North Glen where she appeared intoxicated. Winter apologized for her behavior the day after the public meeting and said she was seeking substance abuse treatment. The North Glen City Council voted unanimously to file the ethics complaint against Winter. As part of the investigation, the committee that met today also received surveillance video of Winter's arrival at that April meeting, parking in a fire zone. And it included police body cam video that shows her interaction with North Glen Police Chief Jim May.
What I want to do is give you an opportunity to call someone to come get you.
Sure.
And make sure you get home safely.
Sure.
Okay. Last thing I want to do is you drive off and you hurt somebody or hurt somebody else. Okay?
Sure.
I'm not going to make you blow into anything. I'm just, okay? I'm worried about you right now. That's why I stopped. Because I mean, you took some blows tonight.
That was in reference to the treatment she received from some people at that community meeting, kind of attacking Winter that night. So is what you just saw preferential treatment? A spokesman for North Glen Police just told me less than 10 minutes ago, no, for several reasons. The meeting was more than a couple hours long. Police had not seen her drive, so no probable cause to do any kind of testing. I today called 2 other police agencies separately. Didn't tell them the specifics of who I was talking about or what the incident was. Just if I had this situation, would I be given roadside tests or be treated differently? And both those separate agencies came to the same conclusion, that there wasn't enough probable cause and anybody in that situation probably would have had the same grace.
I mean, that's good to know that that's how these things are handled, that if you show up toasted to a public meeting, park in the fire zone or whatever else, they'll just take care of it. A car in the fire zone was cool too?
There's no complaint against that, just her behavior, I guess, that night.
Yeah, and it got moved for her.
They did, yeah, there's video where they asked if they could move her car for her.
Oh, that's nice.
That's something I also asked one of the other agents. I don't know if that's going to be given to everybody or just maybe, hey, I know you, I'll borrow your keys real quick.
Sure. All right, Marshall, thank you. Colorado's program to offer school meals at no cost to all students has brought in more money than expected, and yet it is still underfunded to the point that voters may not get what was promised. Earlier this year, Next was first to tell you that free school meals program was short more than $70 million over the next 2 years. This was funded by Prop FF, an extra tax on wealthy households that voters approved in 2022. More tax revenue is coming in than expected. It's the money going out that's the problem.
A lot of the budgetary issues related to the Healthy School Meals program are on the expenditure side, not the revenue side. So the greatest difference from initial estimates is how much the program cost rather than how much the revenue is being collected.
Here's the deal, though. When voters approved Prop FF, the ballot language underestimated the revenue by $26 million. And you know the deal under the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. That means that they have to go back to voters to ask you to keep the extra money. Prop FF also promised raises for school cafeteria staff, said the schools would be using locally sourced foods. The Department of Education plans to hold some public meetings to discuss ways that the legislature could keep those promises. Today, from the Denver area up to northern Colorado, the weather has just been popping. Parts of Weld County were under a tornado warning this afternoon. That's not a tornado. Look at that little land spout, kind of cute near Milliken. Around Denver, we've seen rounds of heavy rain. We've seen some light hail from the southwest side of town up to Arvada. And it could be a busy night of storms, which Among other things, we're watching that Rolling Stones concert at Mile High. Lauren Robinson, obviously not the dangerous situation that we had there in Weld County for a time this afternoon, but what are we looking at through the evening?
Yeah, as we go through the rest of the evening, we're not in the clear as far as severe storms go, but that strong storm that we saw that did warrant a tornado warning, that took a lot of the atmospheric energy there. So we do have a better chance for any upcoming storms to be less severe. Now, as we take a live look over downtown Denver, you can still see all of the cloud cover with some scattered showers. We do have storms over DIA right now. Right now, we're at 70 degrees there, winds coming in from the northwest at 13 miles per hour. Now, as we continue to monitor our HD Doppler radar, we're still getting a ton of moisture pushing in from the southwest, and that's causing widespread scattered showers and storms across the Front Range into the high country and then central and northern portions of the Front Range and eastern plains. Now, this is the same system that did have severe thunderstorm warnings and even a tornado warning attached to it. All of those have been allowed to expire, but we're still going to watch for those widespread showers and storms as we go through the rest of the evening. We also have this severe thunderstorm watch in this teal triangle. That's going to be until 7 o'clock. That's where we're expecting the strongest storms through the rest of the day. Right now, Denver, downtown Denver, dry. We saw some showers push through, but we do still have some storms off to the south. With the severity of these storms, northern portions of the Front Range and eastern plains, mostly through the urban corridor, and then the southwestern corner of the state, both under a slight risk for severe weather. That's going to be a level 2 out of 5 for the danger scale. Other areas, including Denver, in just a marginal risk. Overnight tonight, we're in the 50s and 60s with some 30s and 40s in the high country. Tomorrow, we're going to see those highs drop just a bit into the upper 80s, and then we're going to watch for even warmer weather to push through for the weekend. We're in the upper 90s by next Monday.
Denver's school superintendent upgraded and soundproofed his office at the cost of almost $100,000 to taxpayers. I bet he doesn't hear a single complaint. If the Denver school district planned to keep that expensive soundproofing quiet, so to speak, that also didn't work. Our partners at the Denver Gazette found out about it. They got a whole document showing the full cost. The district told the Gazette that the project was to provide Superintendent Dr. Alex Marrero an appropriate and private office space. He's now been upgraded to a corner office with a downtown view where he cannot hear what you are saying about him right now. When Colorado legalized marijuana a decade ago, we heard some scary predictions that kids would use more and more. Yet marijuana use by kids is now at an all-time low in Colorado since legalization. Our Evan Krugel looks at why.
That stuff hurts. It stops you from living up to your potential.
The 1980s were a scary time if you were a kid thinking about smoking weed.
I just want to shake some sense into you kids that are using drugs and thinking about using.
And the 1990s
This is your brain.
weren't much better.
This is drugs.
Fast forward 30 years, and the anti-drug ads Denver kids are seeing look and sound a lot different.
And so what we do in Denver is we create this content that tells kids the facts and doesn't do scare tactics.
And Denver spokesman Eric Escudero believes those ads are working. A recent Healthy Kids Colorado survey of more than 100,000 youth showed a decrease in the amount reporting marijuana use from more than 20% in 2019 to less than 13% last year.
So we were bracing for higher results as kids were back in school around their peers. The state did this survey and the exact opposite happened. We didn't see a surge. We actually saw it remain flat, in some instances around the state actually go down. It shows really that Denver's youth education and prevention campaign is working.
Eric believes focusing on facts instead of fear is helping kids understand the dangers of youth marijuana use.
And so we want to make sure when kids have conversations with their peers, they have accurate information about anything and everything to do with marijuana.
Now, the city is taking things a step forward this year, targeting those ads online and on video games to low-income neighborhoods in Denver. That's where they say statistics still show kids are more likely to use marijuana. Kyle?
Evan, what's the chance that kids in Colorado have just shifted to another drug of choice? Is this survey asking about other drugs?
Yeah, it's a great question. The issue is that marijuana question, that one's been there for the past 10 years. But some of these newer drugs, like fentanyl, for example, they're just now starting to ask about. For example, this 2023 one had fentanyl use reported right around 1%. A lot of folks would probably argue that number's actually higher than that. So it's tough to really gauge whether they're shifting their use to other drugs because those questions vary from year to year.
All right. Very interesting. Evan Krugel, thank you. I need to apologize. in the 4 years of your Word of Thanks microgiving campaigns, we've never had this happen. The fundraising website crashed last night without taking a single donation. The thing was just dead in the water. I want to thank all of you who reached out to alert us. We have now built a new functioning fundraising page. So if it's okay, I'd like to mention the campaign again here so that nonprofit doesn't lose out on all your generosity. This week, we are supporting the Craig Hospital Foundation's Patient Assistance Fund. When patients leave Craig after rehab for brain and spinal cord injuries, they often find that their insurance won't cover really basic, essential stuff needed for their recovery. That's where the fund comes in, paying for specialized wheelchairs and lifts, making modifications to their homes, covering the cost of transportation to and from appointments. The nonprofit's Patient Assistance Fund can even chip in for scholarships to help patients go back to school to get a degree and find a new career that is compatible with their challenges. These are folks in our community who are going through some of the toughest challenges possible, and they just want to have a shot at building a safe and functional life after a brain or spinal cord injury. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to get a working link to donate. You'll see two options. One is to give just this week to this cause, and there's another link there if you want to chip in a little for each week's microgiving campaign through a sign-up-once monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. Colorado is trying to lure a major film festival away from its 40-year home in Utah. You know him as our science guy. He's inspired countless students. Now he's trying to convince more teachers to be fun.
So I'm the climber, so I climb to the top and do whatever it takes to get the Old Glory back up there flying.
He is going to get really high, but you watch the show however you want. Next. Sundance Film Festival shopping around for a new home after 45 years in Utah. Colorado wants to be in the running, along with a bunch of other places, all stumbling over each other to throw millions of dollars at Sundance. Boulder's been invited to submit a bid to become the new host city for Sundance in 2027. Organizers of the largest independent film festival in the U.S. started scouting out potential locations earlier this year. Sundance has been in Utah since its start, but that contract is up in 2026. We don't know how much Boulder is spending on the bid, but the State Economic Development Office is kicking in $1.5 million, and they say various groups should more than double that funding. State leaders point to the impact that Sundance has had on Utah. They say it's created hundreds of jobs and contributed more than $100 million to the state's economy each year. Now, not saying that Sundance is just shaking down its current host, Utah, to give them more to stay, but you should note, Utah is making a bid to keep Sundance there. Boulder is one of many places trying to land the festival. The entertainment news site Deadline first reported that at least 15 cities have been asked to submit bids. So school can be boring. School can also be tons of fun, and often the difference is an enthusiastic teacher. We know that our science guy, Steve Spangler, makes science fun, and this week he is sharing that passion with teachers from across the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to beautiful Denver, Colorado, where I have 192 of the best teachers on the planet. Go ahead, take a look at them.
We're at Steve Spangler's event, Science in the Rockies.
We know, hold them up in the air, let's see. Oh! 192 teachers from all over the country have gathered to try to find the most creative ways to make science fun for their kids. It's a chance for teachers to be able to connect and figure out what STEM is really all about. We in this room believe that STEM is all about communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity.
At STEM schools, we do plan and then they try it and then they have to change what they went wrong.
One more on top of that would make it even taller.
We're building a structure with the wind tubes that we blew up.
I want them to realize you've got to have a plan, right?
I think we all just started putting balloons together.
Get together, huddle up, put together a plan.
So I feel like the connecting ones all need to come to one point.
We have to inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers. Their job in this room is to go back and to affect so many more people in their districts, to be able to infect other teachers. It's that enthusiasm. It's infectious.
Personally, I had Steve Spangler stuff growing up as a kid, so
you must walk away.
It's cool to see like how far it's come and to see how much it can do.
These are the skills of STEM: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. You just did it.
I've climbed over 2,000 poles from Florida to Alaska, and Maine to San Diego. I've been everywhere.
Takes courage to be a Steeple Jack. Next, we meet a man who has looked down on America from a variety of angles. We salute flags and give very little love to flag poles. Yet you can't fly the one without the other. The people who keep America's flagpoles functioning are called steeplejacks. And Colorado's Todd Ross is one of them.
All right, here we go. I just really want to see flags flying on our flagpole. It shows our freedom, our patriotism. Hi, I'm Todd Ross. I'm called a Steeple Jack, and what I do is I fix and repair flagpoles all around the country.
He has no fear. It's something I would never personally do, but up there, he's so comfortable up there.
Prior to this, I was in aviation. I've worked in aviation my whole life. And one day I was driving to work and I counted 42 flagpoles with no flags on them. And it really kind of struck a chord with me. Why aren't we flying flags on these flagpoles? I left my aviation job and started doing this full time, and I should have been doing this my whole life. I'm painting them, I'm putting flags up, I'm doing any kind of repair, whether it's new cable, new rope, new pulleys, new ornaments on top. Anything that needs to be done to that pole to get the flag flying, I can do that. Little wobbly. Yeah, I've climbed the Chicago Tribune, and I've climbed a 200-foot flagpole in Texas, and I've climbed a 30-foot pole on a beach in Florida. All right, I'm coming down. One of the most exotic ones I think I've climbed is on top of Cheyenne Mountain for the Broadmoor, a place called Cloud Camp, and it's 9,200 feet on the edge of a rocky cliff, and it's a 40-foot pole that needed to be painted. It's just embedded in my blood. You'll never get me off the flagpoles. This is my life. This is who I am. Fixing and repairing flagpoles. Ta-da!
Those shoe things are so cool. All right, it's not just flagpoles. He can scale anything that needs fixing. Just last week, he was up above Coors Field. He was working on the lightning rods there. That's fascinating. Speaking of lightning rods, we're back with your feedback to this program. It's cold in here tonight. We're back with your feedback next. Always cold. The most Colorado thing we saw today is doing whatever you got to do to beat the heat. Summer solstice is here. You know it's hot. I know it's hot. A viewer named Susan shot this video of an elk that also knows that it's hot. There you go. Get it. Shake that white. Yep, there you go. This is Evergreen last week. If you see something that feels like Colorado to you, email it to us next at 9news.com. So much feedback tonight about Craig Hospital and what they do for folks in our community. A text from somebody who says that their friend went to Craig and they saved his life. But the real challenge is what happens next at home and without proper care and support. It's impossible. Lorena wrote to say that she used to volunteer at Craig when she was in the high school, and she says that she can attest to the amazing resources that Craig and its foundation has in place to help people. John writes in to say that he donated last night to Colorado Gives, the monthly donations, and got a receipt. You're right. The monthly donations were working last night. It was the weekly site that went down. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email.